the cities did not fall all at once. It began subtly, as it always does with ancient evils. The first signs appeared in small places, villages tucked between mountains, towns hidden in valleys where the light of civilization flickered faintly. People spoke of hearing voices from the forests, of black-eyed strangers offering gifts they could not refuse. The book, now in the hands of the creature wearing Adrian's stolen face, wandered among them. It was never seen, only felt, a shadow sliding across dreams, a whisper under the skin. Wherever it went, chaos bloomed. A mayor in a sleepy coastal town accepted a blessing in the form of endless rain to grow his crops. Within a week, the sea swallowed the entire town, and the crops became living things that slithered over the ruins. A dying tycoon, desperate to reclaim his youth, was gifted vitality beyond human comprehension. He lived for decades more, but each year his flesh rotted faster until he became a walking sack of decay, feeding on the flesh of others to survive. A mother prayed to bring back her dead child. Her son returned, but not as she remembered him. Not human, not anymore. And so it spread. Whispers turned to rumors. Rumors turned to panic. Panic turned to terror. The governments of the world noticed too late. By the time they tried to contain the outbreaks of madness, the book had already poisoned too many minds. Cities descended into riots. Hospitals overflowed with patients whose minds had snapped. Military forces were deployed. Bullets and bombs meant nothing. You could not kill a whisperer. You could not shoot a dream. The creature, still wearing Adrian's semblance, appeared in the capitals of the world. It never spoke publicly, never showed itself to the masses, but its influence seeped into the minds of leaders. Promises of endless power, of armies raised from the dead, of technologies undreamt of, all for the price of loyalty. And the world, desperate and broken, accepted. Those who resisted, they disappeared. Or worse, they became part of the endless, shambling armies that now move through the cities, mindless servants with hollow eyes and mouths that could only scream. Religions fell apart first. The old gods were powerless. Cathedrals became battlegrounds where priests faced creatures made of rotted prayers and corrupted miracles. Entire chapters of holy books rewrote themselves overnight into blasphemous chants. Then came nature's rebellion. The oceans turned black, vomiting up things unseen since the dawn of time. The skies cracked open, and rain that fell wasn't water, but molten ash. Forests grew overnight into mazes of thorns that sang when the wind blew. And all the while, the book moved. It was no longer content with servants. It sought a throne. One city remained standing against the tide, Vienna, a bastion of desperate survivors, scientists, monks, and soldiers who had united to resist the corruption. They knew they could not fight the keeper with weapons. Only one thing could undo the book: to find its birthplace, to destroy it at the source. And so the last crusade began. An ancient order of monks revealed the truth. The book had been created not by man, but by something older than stars. It was a seed planted into Earth's marrow before time began, a test for humankind. Those who failed would be unmade. Those who resisted could reshape the world anew. The journey to the source led the survivors deep into the earth, past forgotten tunnels beneath Vienna, through caves lit with unnatural light, down spiraling paths that made compasses spin and clocks melt. Time ceased to matter. At the center of the world, they found it. The heart of the book. It was not a structure. It was a living thing, an eye the size of a mountain, buried in endless roots, pulsating with a heartbeat that shook the world. It watched them. The book itself floated above the eye, chained by writhing tendrils of pure darkness. And the keeper stood before it. Not Adrian anymore. Not human. A twisted god, stitched from the fears and failures of 1,000 civilizations. The survivors launched their final assault. Holy relics shattered on impact. Bullets turned to dust. Spells chanted by monks with bloodied tongues only delayed the inevitable. The keeper roared, and the caves trembled. Men and women dissolved into mist, their souls devoured. But one woman named Anna Muller, a scientist who had lost her children to the plague birthed by the book, stood her ground. In her hands was not a weapon. It was a page. A single page from a long-forgotten scripture, found hidden inside the oldest church in Vienna. A prayer not of conquest, but of surrender, of sacrifice. She recited it, her voice steady even as blood poured from her eyes. The eye screamed, the book writhed. The keeper lunged at her, but she did not falter. With the final word spoken, Anna burst into light. The eye ruptured, the book tore apart, the monstrous howling into the void. The keeper shrieked, folding into himself, consumed by the very power he had sought to control. The caves collapsed, the earth shuddered, and silence fell. When the dust settled, the survivors emerged. Few remained, but they were free. The world was broken, yes. Cities were gone, oceans poisoned, skies cracked, but humanity had survived. And somewhere, in the rubble of the old world, hope flickered. But deep, deep within the ruined heart of the earth, beneath stones untouched by sunlight, a sliver of black leather twitched. A fragment of a page fluttered, and a whisper, so faint it could have been imagination, slipped into the empty darkness. We are not done yet. The book would return. It always does. Fire I open book the Yindi, for now.